Greetings, brothers and sisters. I want to talk about a subject today about fleeing Babylon. Particularly in the Israelite community, there's a lot of talk about fleeing Babylon. Should I flee Babylon, or is there going to be a gathering from Babylon? Today, you're going to get the answers to those questions. I'm here in the book of Revelation, chapter 18. This is the chapter and verse that is most taught about fleeing Babylon, and I'm going to go to it right here. Revelations chapter 18, verse 1. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partaker of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she hath, fill to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, mourning, and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judges her. Now, it's my understanding, the book of Revelation is a future book of future prophecy. And the first line here in chapter 18 says, after these things. That line there lets you know there's going to be a time period for all the following verses to take place. So I don't believe that this has been fulfilled as of yet. This time is still yet to come. And it says here in verse 4, and I heard another angel from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people. That's when the cry goes out. That's when we come out of Babylon, when this angel here says this here. I mean, it's not going to be a secret when to come out of Babylon. Everyone's going to know, and you're going to have to make your choice whether to leave or to stay. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to prove that to you now. I'm going to go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 11, verse 11. Book of Isaiah, chapter 11, verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day, the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria. Assyria is another way of saying Babylon, but for the 10 northern tribes that were taken captive in the Old Testament. The Assyrian is the type of the king of Babylon. So when you see Assyria, when it's talking about the end time, it's talking about Babylon as to the 10 northern tribes. And from Egypt, from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar. Shinar is the land of the Babylonians. And from Hamath, and from the isles of the seas, and from the islands of the seas. Shinar is the land of the Babylonians, once again, and it talks about that in Zechariah. So there is going to be a gathering from Babylon, which is America, if you didn't know already. Let's go to verse 12. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations. This is how you know you're going to know when to come out of Babylon. It says here, and he shall set up an ensign for the nations. So we're going to know. It's not going to be a secret. When this ensign goes up, you know to come out of Babylon. And then you have to choose whether to go or to stay. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. It's going to happen all over the world, including Shinar, or Babylon. So when Christ says, when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies, flee, then what is he talk? What is Christ talking about then? Let's go into that a little bit here. Let's go to Luke. Let's go to Luke chapter 21. Luke chapter 21, let's go to verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. You see Jerusalem compassed with armies. You see that now. And that's why I have to put this video now, because this is happening now. Like that shooting with the brother in Ferguson, Missouri. The whole city was compassed with armies. For what reasons, I don't know. And again in West Africa, with this so-called Ebola outbreak, which I don't believe Ebola is there anyway, but you see them being compassed with armies over there too. Jerusalem, when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, the Jerusalem they're talking about is Judah, or the tribe of Judah. When you see the tribe of Judah compassed with armies, know that the desolation thereof is nigh. The desolation of who? The desolation of Judah. Then it says, let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains. Who is them that be in Judea? This is also talking about the tribe of Judah. Judea is wherever Judah is. Mainly in your cities. You know, New York, Chicago, Atlanta. Wherever the tribe of Judah is densely populated, this is where this is going to take place. And that's why I have to put this out now, because it's going to happen soon. It says, let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out. In the midst of what? Judah. So if you live in the midst of Judah, if you live amongst so-called African Americans, which is the tribe of Judah, you need to depart out of Judah, the tribe of Judah, and flee where? To the mountains. Mountains is just another way of saying out of the cities, where mainly Judah is. And let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them which are in the countries enter thereinto. Let you know it's going to be in the cities, so go to the countries. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. This is talking about God's vengeance here. This is God coming after his people for turning their backs on him. Punishment is going to start with Judah. Israelites know what I'm talking about. So that's my that's my understanding of the flee Babylon subject. It's not talking about flee Babylon. It's talking about flee out of the midst of the tribe of Judah who don't follow God. And you see this happening now, like I said, in Missouri, also in West Africa. They're surrounding Judah with armies. So you must depart out of the midst of Judah, so you don't get so-called quarantine or whatever they're going to do to Judah. Let's go back to Isaiah again, where it talks about this a little bit. Isaiah chapter 22. Isaiah chapter 22, verse 1. The burden of the valley of vision. What aileth thee now? What aileth thee now that thou art wholly gone up to the housetops? Thou that art full of stirs, a tumultuous city, a joyous city. Thy slain men are not slain with the sword, nor dead in battle. Spiritually dead. Spiritually deader than a hammer, as one of my teachers would say. All thy rulers are fled together. This whole verse is talking, this whole chapter rather, is talking about Judah. You'll see in a minute. All thy rulers are fled together and are bound by the archers. Like the archers that bendeth the bow kind of reminds me of. And the rulers, I guess they talk, the rulers are fled together. I believe they're talking about, you know, your Jesse Jacksons and your so-called fake religious black leaders. When the you know what is the fan, all the rulers are going to be fled. They are bound by the archers. All that are found in thee are bound together, which have fled. Verse 4. Therefore said I, look away from me. I will weep bitterly. Labor not to comfort me because of the spoiling of the daughters of my people. So here Isaiah is weeping because he sees the destruction coming to his people. For it is a day of trouble and of treading down and of perplexity by the Lord God of hosts in the valley of vision. So you see, this is God coming against his people for turning their backs on him. And Elam bare the quiver with chariots of men and horsemen, and Ker uncovered the shields. And it shall come to pass that thy choicest valleys, talking about Judah's choicest valleys, wherever Judah is, shall be full of chariots. Judea shall be full of chariots, and the horsemen shall set themselves in array at the gate. So here again it shows you that these armies are going to be surrounding Judah or Judea, wherever Judah is. And he discovered the covering of Judah. Told you it was Judah. And thou didst look in that day to the armor of the house of the forest. So when this thing start to happen, they're going to look for protection in the house of the forest. I'm not sure what that means, but let's keep going. Ye have seen also the breaches of the city of David, that they are many. And ye gathered together the waters of the lower pool. And ye have numbered the houses of Jerusalem, and the houses have ye broken down to fortify the wall. So they're breaking down walls and making barricades, trying to protect themselves when they're surrounded by these armies. Ye may also, verse 11, ye made also a ditch between the two walls for the water of the old pool. But here's the important part. But ye have not looked unto the maker thereof. This is why this destruction is coming upon Judah. With all this stuff going on, they failed to look to their maker. Neither had respect unto him that fashioned it long ago. All this going on, God is nowhere in their hearts or minds. Verse 12, and in that day did the Lord God of hosts call to weeping and to mourning and to baldness and to girding with sackcloth. And behold, joy and gladness. So with all this going on, he called you to weep for all this. But instead of weeping, verse 13, behold, joy and gladness, slaying oxen and killing sheep, eating flesh. and drinking wine. Let us eat and drink, for tomorrow we shall die. Eat, drink, and be merry. With all this going on, surrounded by armies, they're not looking to their Maker. Eat, drink, and be merry. Verse 14, and it was revealed in mine ears by the Lord of hosts, surely this iniquity shall not be purged from you till ye die, saith the Lord God of hosts. So they're going to die for this sin. Let's go back to the book of Luke. I want to show you how this gathering is going to take place. Christ talks about it. Let's go to Luke 17. Luke 17, verse 26. And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. They did eat, they drank. We just read about that in Isaiah. They did eat, they drank, they married wives. They were given in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. And the flood came and destroyed them all. Likewise, listen clearly here. Likewise, also as it was in the days of Lot, they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they builded. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. So, just how it was in the days of Lot, that's how the gathering is going to take place. As it was in Revelations 18, which I read first. Verse 30, even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. In that day he which shall be upon the housetops, and his stuff in the house, let him not come down to take it away. And he that is in the field, let him likewise not return back. Remember Lot's wife. So like I read in Isaiah, when that ensign goes up, you just go. You get your family and go. You don't turn back to take your possessions with you, as Lot's wife did. That's why Christ said here, remember Lot's wife. When it's time to go, you go. Because Lot's wife, they say she was turned to a pillar of salt. Well, I think she went back. I think that's just God's way of teaching. I believe she went back to Sodom and Gomorrah. Maybe she forgot something she wanted to take with her. And she was consumed by the sulfur on her feet, standing up. That's what I believe, because turning back and looking back and turning to salt, that don't make sense. She went back, maybe forgot something, and she died in the fire, consumed on her feet. Talks about that a little bit in Zechariah. Verse 33, whosoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it. That's why you must just go. Don't look to take anything with you, because that's considered preserving that past life. You need to let that life go, start a new life with Christ, or you're going to be consumed in the fire as Lot's wife was. So that's how I believe the gathering is going to take place. The ensign is going to go up. We're going to come out. And most likely the same day that we come out of Babylon, it's going to rain fire on Babylon. Hope I was able to give the brothers and sisters some understanding. I believe this is true. This understanding I put out here today, I don't see it happening any other way. If you do, let me know or leave a message, and I'll go into it again. But I believe this is the way that we're going to come out of Babylon. Shalom.